going to be a good series.
Game 2 Zelnaga Caverns. And honestly, Game 1, the one thing we're missing here, Game 1, neither player keeping a really good track of their opponent's army. It looked like for DdoRo should have seen that army moving out and should have probably engaged it across the 9 o'clock. I mean, he had an observer sitting on top there. It's like an eyeball stuck to a Marauder's helmet, basically. And yet not in position to engage it. That usually you do not want to end up in a base trade with... Oh, chat broken, looks like. With Zelnaga. Anyway, but Zelnaga Caverns is one of those maps where keeping track of your army and keeping track of position is key. It's absolutely vital, and neither player really showing a huge advantage in that in Game 1.
Yeah, we definitely did see both players just didn't see the armies moving across the map, and then just in the end, there was a little bit of indecision from RootDdoRo, but in the end, he did decide to go for the base trade instead of trying to pull back and defend. So we're gonna go right into game number 2 on Zelnaga Caverns.
We'll see if Coops decides to continue to rely on that more infantry-based army. This is one of those maps that I think favors Hellions start to end, even with Protoss play. And one thing that a lot of Terran don't do against Protoss, which I think is, you'll see LZ Gamer do it every once in a while, and I think this will end up being more popular over the long term, is Hellions actually do get cost-effective against Protoss once you hit a certain number, once you hit around the 8 slot, because essentially they can do that group damage against Stalkers, and particularly with some support behind them, it could be very, very effective.
Yeah, once you get that blue flame upgrade as well, they can cut through the zealots that are up in the front, and they can cut through the sentries as well. So definitely blue flame Hellions can do quite well in PBT, and they're not used nearly as much other than the really early like 3 Hellion drop, 4 Hellion drop, or blue flame Hellion run by stuff.
Although it looks like we're not going to have an opportunity to see that immediately, a probe moving off the line, no pylon inside base for DdoRo. It looks like he's going to get creative, planting a pylon right along that inside corner. Ooh, this could be interesting.
I'm gonna guess either cannons or early like super crazy 2-gate in the base, because this is gonna have vision of the high ground. That probe was not seen by the Terran player, so he's not gonna know this is coming until he scouts either up in this area or the Protoss main, and that's a long way off. Yep, it's gonna be proxy 2-gate would be my bet, or just 1 gate.
Interesting. Just leaving the 1 gate, bringing the probe back out, and he's going to try to time it as though this is a normal scout. So sneaking in now, seeing the barracks, and unfortunately for Coops, well, let's see how this plays out for Coops. When is he going to send his scout out? And with this harassment, looks like 2 SCVs off the line, delaying that barracks a bit. What tends to be key for a lot of Terran players, particularly at this level, is they send that scout out once the barracks finish. So even with a little bit of delay there, perhaps engaging that SCV trading, or sorry, engaging that probe trading that SCV out, that even those few seconds could be significant here.
Yeah, definitely could be. This is looking, the longer that this stays here, the more likely that it is that the Zealots could do a ton of damage, because even if it's able to be held off, if the SCVs are focused, then this gateway rush could definitely do quite a bit of damage. There is gas coming out for DdoRo, so it doesn't look like he wants to go all in with the proxy gateway. Actually, he does want to go for a core, wants to get some sort of attack. Ooh, and that's going to be scouted by the SCV right as the first Zealot's about to pop. He tried to drop a supply depot and then immediately turned around, went home, and went, oh, can't put a supply depot there.
Coops not reacting, though. Coops needs to get a barracks down or something. Instead of being a tech lab in the face of this, why Zealot's just going to walk up and take out several SCVs. Wow. Now the SCV's pulling off the line. He's losing a lot of mining time, and that Zealot is already worth its weight. Just pulling all these SCVs off the line like this. Finally getting that bunker in the back line. But yeah, just waiting for that tech lab. This entire time, he's not been mining anything. Huge lead. Second Zealot out. Looks like he's being grouped, and that is not what you want to do in that situation. Oh, Coops is falling apart here.
Yeah, he's pulling all his SCVs all at the same time. This Marine is trying to run for its life, but is taking quite a bit of damage. He was able to take out the first Zealot, and he will be able to take out this one as well, but he's already lost quite a few of the SCVs. He's currently at 10 SCVs, 16 probes. There's a mule right now, and this bunker is going to finish, but these Zealots are continuing to come in one at a time, but I'm still not liking the reaction by Coops was not very good, and this barracks, this tech lab, this gas, stuff like that is going to be completely open, and there's only 1 Marine in the bunker right now, so there's the Reaper out now, though. So
yeah, Reaper has a little bit of additional range, but it's still not going to protect that barracks. It's still not going to protect that tech lab, and even this 2 combination against that Stalker with the Reaper a bit weak and that Marine out, with that, they're not going to be able to take all of this out. I do like the decision to go Reaper. It's a little bit of creativity there to try to take something out. Ooh, the Mule getting focused. That is huge, but still, DdoRo has plenty of room to attack. In the meantime, his economic lead is growing. He's getting a second assimilate simulator in the meantime, so really thinking about playing a follow-up game to this. But yeah, Coops not looking good at all. This is a devastating opening, maybe showing a bit of nerves. Again, pulling mules off the line. You at the very least have to leave those mules there to get that additional bonus. And just being, and I gotta say, DdoRo fantastically leading those troops away from where they'd really be effective in engaging that gateway or the units as they're popping out. And instead, DdoRo gonna be able to take out a Marine and a second Reaper, maybe.
No, he did not lose the Reaper, unfortunately, for DdoRo. He's controlling this very, very well, and lots of SCVs have gone down. He's been able to force Coops to remain in his base. The supply differential is just growing and growing. It's currently 16 to 26 for DdoRo. And it looks like back home, DdoRo is transitioning into what seems to be 3 gates at this point, and his warp gate is almost done as it is. And this proxy pylon, proxy gate, is not only going to provide this gate power, it's also going to provide power for warp-ins as well. So we could definitely see some warp-in action at that point very shortly.
Unfortunately, DdoRo just has a superior economy flat out is what it comes down to. He's got 25 harvesters versus 15. The mules have been ineffective as far as building just that flat mineral count. They've pulled off the line multiple times. They've been focused down here and there. That barracks still exposed. And even on top of this, DdoRo has not lost that gateway sitting inside the base. Coops has not had any sort of pressure to take it out. Probably going to lose the tech lab here. No, again, he keeps posturing like that. And every time he postures and pulls off the line, he's losing more and more mining time. So DdoRo in a fantastic position here.
Yep, and warp gates did just finish, so those warp units are going to come in here. There's 1 Stalker warped in at the moment, another Stalker coming in as well, and there's 2 Marauders at this point, and that is all. There's now 3 Marauders, 4 Coops, and that's all he really has to defend against this. There's 3 Stalkers and a Sentry. Interesting force field placement there. It looks like he is focusing down on these Marauders instead of dealing with these SCVs. The SCVs do get a kill on one of those Stalkers, but that is going to be the end of that, and there's the GG from Coops.
I think that might be a little bit of inexperience just in pressure situations for Coops, because I bet if you're talking about the ladder, you would have beat that 10 times out of 10. But going into a high, basically cash on the line situation against a player like DdoRo, I think he might be a little bit starstruck. His eyes got big, his brain got small sort of situation. And so he reacted okay, but misplaced that bunker. It was late, things like that. I think it's just big starry eyes is what it comes down to. And that's where a player like DdoRo is going to end up pulling ahead just because, again, long-term experience. Let's see if he settled down a little bit in Game 3, gets his tempo, and can come out with a victory.